Hello, hope you're having a nice weekend. This is Sally, and I have a new journal that I just finished. It's called Book Trails to Enchanted Lands, and I think I'm just going to call it Enchanted Lands. I actually have been working on this one and also this one, which I'm going to be calling the Pansy. And it will be done very soon also. But this one is finished now. Beautiful cover. This is one of the books I got at that big estate sale I went to, and it was just full of such gorgeous pictures. I loved them. I saved a lot of them to put in this book and some also in this one. So I used quite a few of them. Okay, so I do love the cover. It's got another beautiful illustration there. And here's the spine. It's in nice condition. What I like about the book, and I hope you can see it, but the cover is embossed. So on the back, the design is a tree with a horse and like a knight and a little gnome guy and a bear and a castle. Just, really beautiful, vintagey feeling stuff. This is actually volume 3. And so I made a charm. Well, the charm is, I don't know if you can guess what this is. I knew what it was right away. Okay, just in case you don't know, and you're not as old as I am, it's a skate key. So when we put on our roller skates when we were kids, they clamped on over your shoes, and you had to have this key to adjust the sides to make them fit on your shoes, to fit in like this and to lengthen or shorten. So the skates were adjustable. I was always losing the skate key and having to run down to the store and buy a new one. We lived in town, so it was no big deal. I just would go down to the variety store and get a new skate key, probably for 10 or 15 cents. And then I did have this Mickey Mouse. It looks vintage. It's the 90th anniversary of Mickey Mouse. So it's a replica, but I thought it looked cute on there. So this is a fairy tale journal. It has a hitching post clasp and elastic because it's pretty big. It's a chunky one. 3 signatures. And it's full of lots of interesting stuff. Let's see if I'm in frame here. I kept the original inside cover because it's just an amazing picture. And it continues on the other side. So you got Robin Hood and fairies and a witch and Hansel and Gretel, castle, just all kinds of neat stuff. And so I used fabric on the spine. And then I covered this signature. Started it with some wallpaper I have, which I just think this wallpaper is so pretty. It really went nice with the paper. I like the colors and everything. It has a little bit of gold in it. Okay, this is a picture actually from the original book. It's sort of a Hindu version of Cinderella, and she's trying on a slipper there. And since there wasn't a beautiful illustration on this side, I added this one from another book, turned it into a pocket. So it has this journaling card with an old book illustration, and this, which I don't know, I can't remember where I found this, maybe in a magazine, but I sure remember that poster. So I thought that would look nice in there since this book is kind of children related. I decided to try coffee staining my paper. So I brewed some really strong coffee, and I baked it in the oven like I used to do. I kind of have gotten away from baking it, but anyway, I really like the nice dark results. And I just did some stitching here on this edge. So a little bit of fabric there. So this is a page from this book, The Pansy. So I used pages from both books and mixed them together with a bunch of other stuff too. I just love this picture. Even though it's just a black and white drawing, You can tell, you can just see the sunshine on that blonde curly hair. I think it's so sweet. So this book is actually, The Pansy is 1891, and this one, Enchanted Lands, is, I believe, 1928. Just beautiful illustrations in both books. The Pansy is mostly black and white, and this one has a lot of colored pictures. So this is a flip. It's not exactly fabric. It's some of that handmade paper I like to use. It's got an interesting texture to it. And so here's some that I use spray inks on. Just stitched it on here and made it into a little fabric flip. And I like the way that you can see those little girls' shoes when it's down. And then, you know, writing space there. And then I made a lot of clusters and tuck spots, and they're all just kind of abstract, stitched, and scraps of paper, you know, stuck together. This is actually a page from the Puppy book, which is an old children's book I have that's falling apart, has lots of yellow tape all over it. This corner was missing, so I replaced it with a scrap of Tim Holtz paper. I thought it was cute. Makes a nice bookmark. Onion skin paper with a little bit of spray ink on it. And this is actually a flip because this paper just didn't look very interesting, so I added this flip to it. Plus, gives you extra hidden writing space. And on the other side is a really old picture from it's from another fairy tale book I have, which I think I've already used the cover of that one for a journal, but I still have some of the original pictures from it. And there's Old Mother Goose. And it looks like the little old lady that lived in a shoe, but that's not a shoe, it's some kind of a little hut. And did this because of the size of this book, which is like about 10 inches. It's 10, oops. Yeah, 9.5 by 7. So it's a pretty good sized book. And my papers didn't quite fit, so I did some stitching together of odds and ends to make pages that would fill out the space. And a little tuck spot here with this kind of altered address card. It's kind of like a Rolodex. That just fits there. Some old ledger paper, which I have a lot of this that I got at Goodwill. And a pretty little card from 1948. Some other ledger paper. This is actually pages from another fairy tale book I have. And the paper was kind of brittle, so I used some fabric to make a hinge. Altered guest check with this kind of crazy Scotsman here playing the bagpipes. And this is it's a little tag. It's actually, I have a whole garland of these kids riding like elephants and donkeys and dogs. So there's the rest of the stitched paper. This one is a fabric flip, so it's got part of an old hanky, some gauze, a flower, some vintage fabric, and doily, and then underneath is a picture from another old children's book. I think this is Gretel of Hansel and Gretel. It's after the witch got them. And Little Red Riding Hood, another beautiful fairy tale. This has some little details here in the border of her and the wolf, and then her and her grandmother, but it's really the wolf. And this is just the arm of a queen from a book that I had. Some fussy cut people dancing. And a page from the Pansy. Look at that sweet little girl. Look at her outfit. Coffee dyed paper. So this is a pocket, and inside is An old envelope with these, the Seven Dwarfs kind of fussy cut out and glued down. So you could use it as a journaling card. And there's another one of the beautiful pictures. And a little poem here about this little girl that found some gold. Okay, second signature. This is actually some wrapping paper I've had for about 25 years. Just kind of been hoarding it. Decided to use it as the front of a signature. I love it because it's double-sided. Look at that, isn't that pretty? And here's the title page from Enchanted Lands. And there it says 1928. Added some fabric here to make a hinge. And did a little stitching together of pages here. There's a little pocket made out of some napkin collage on parchment paper, and this little sweet little ornament. It could be a Christmas ornament. Another page from the original book. And I actually stitched 2 pages together to make a pocket. So in here is this little folder. It has an envelope on the front. It's actually opened up and stitched down and turned into pockets. So on this side is an old photo and just a scrap of Tim Holtz paper. And on this side is it's a vintage postcard, and I think that they used to make pictures into postcards, because this says postcard right here. And it was in a scrapbook, but it looks like it's a picture of somebody's house. Big stack of firewood there in front. And it has a little bit of colorization too, which just kind of makes it pretty. So that's in here. So then this is actually an old book page, and then on the inside you could use this as a card or as a journaling space. Another beautiful picture from the original, and a cluster I made and turned into a tuck spot for this journaling card. There's the mice that were Cinderella's horses for her carriage. This is actually a different book. That's another one from the late 1800s. And I actually took this picture from the book because the book's kind of falling apart. So I stitched it onto this, on the back of this page here, from a different fairy tale book. So this is some ledger paper with a pocket, and it kind of has different levels. And so, like, we have Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. I should take them all out. It says, behind each cloud, the sun is shining. So you've got Dorothy up here. There's Glinda. And these are all journaling cards. The Scarecrow. And the Tin Man. This is a cluster, which is also it's kind of a tuck. So these things aren't glued, they're just stitched together. So this little tag is tucked in here. And these 2 little journaling cards are tucked in here and here. An altered Rolodex card. And just a little journaling card with a quote by Sir Walter Scott. So this is the back of a book page. Yeah, so I saved the 2 inside pages of this book also. It's the same picture as this, and then I just hinged them together. so that you could see the whole thing is one picture. And put some little tickets at the end of the strings. And here's a little tag I made with some seam binding on the side. Little tuck spot and an altered library card. Lots of stitching. An altered bingo card with some collage on the back. And this is the Wizard of Oz here. It was supposed to be a mask. It's from a book. Well, it's too small actually. It's a condensed version. Okay, so another book page with a beautiful illustration. And this, I think, is from The Pansy. Onion skin paper with some spray inks. Here I added some wallpaper onto this paper to make it a little longer. 2 pages stitched together, so the inside is some coffee-stained paper that has a little spray ink on it. So you could use this as writing space or stationery, whatever. Another picture from the original book. This is a little fabric pocket. It's part of a quilt top, vintage quilt top, and then this little tag I made. Fabric pocket here with some vintage fabric, and this vintage postcard, Easter card, 1911, and tag I made from a book page. It has little bits of fabric stitched down and some images I fussy cut. Page from the original book. This was the table of contents. And so last signature. This is actually a poster that that somebody had printed off, and so I just decided it would make a nice cover for a signature. I like the colors of it, and then I added some spray ink to the inside to make it a little bit more colorful. And I don't know if you could see, but there's a little bit of shimmer in there. So this picture has been turned into a pocket with a tarot card, the chariot. Sort of seemed like a fairy tale picture that would go with this. And The Child Next Door, a beautiful little poem. And this is an image I cut from a book and turned into a pocket. So inside is this piece of paper here, which was kind of like part of a packaging from some kind of foreign product. I can't even remember what it was. I think it was something you were supposed to hang in the trees to scare the birds away. So that's a journaling card now. And then this photo here, which I think I've used before, I made into another little tag with a T tag on the top. And another little tuck spot. Some Mother Goose rhymes. And there's a witch on a broom flying over the rainbow. This is some of my coffee dyed paper, which I did in the oven. So you can see the print of the baking pan. I just thought this picture was so cute. It's from my Life magazine book. The flower girl and the ring bearer, and that's the bride. Look at how mad she looks. This fits in there. This is a beautiful children's book called The Root Children. This is a page from it. The book is big, so I actually split the pages in half. So because you'll see on the other page, part of the scenery is what's happening above ground, and part of it is what's happening below ground, where the roots are. So this is above ground, and the story about the root children, where they are making their clothes, and a little pocket here with a tag I made. Another cluster, onion skin paper with some tea or spray inks. These are actually some cards. I got a set of these. They are like instructional, like for teachers. 1931, I have a whole box of them, and they have like a little story on the front, and then some questions and ways of using, you know, the card as a learning tool. So, you know, like it talks about how milk is a food and so on. But I love this one here with the milk bottle is a castle of health, and then it has all the fairies. Actually, I was going to tuck this one into the other journal, the pansy. Here's one with Peter Pan on it, and then some more stuff on the back. So this one's a poem called Jock o' Hazeldean about a princess, and the poem is on this side, and then the instructional stuff's on the back. And I have a pocket here with the paper doll of, looks like Beauty and the Beast or Puss in Boots or something. And then one of those paint cards that I turned into a journaling card. Old ledger page. And another tuck spot with this envelope. And just this little handmade journaling card with an image from an old dictionary, and that's the dodo, which of course is extinct now. But it wasn't, I think, when that dictionary was made. Some stitching here. And another page from a big book. And I didn't want to trim any of it off, so I just folded it in. So here's Cinderella. And then on this side, the house that Jack built. I think the illustrations are so pretty. And Sleeping Beauty. Okay, another page that I've stitched. Like the shoe. Some old ledger paper. This is a page from a book that was just too fragile really to do anything with, and plus I liked both sides of it, so I just put it in this pocket. Teddy bear. And this is another one of those instructional pages. This one's the fairy dyers, and the fairies are dyeing things different colors. And some more onion skin paper with spray ink. Image from a children's book. Another tuck spot. This one actually has an old letter in it. And there's the root children. So this is the bottom half of the picture. You can see they've been sleeping underground. It's time for them to wake up, get dressed, and go out above the ground and turn themselves into little flowers. And you can see she's got the basket with the fabric that they're going to use to make their pretty clothes. And the lightning bugs are providing the light for them. It's just so cute. It's an adorable book. Okay. Copy stain paper. There's a little cluster I made with a photo and some kind of weird handmade paper that has threads in it. Isn't that pretty? That's from a super duper old book. And another illustration from an old book that I fussy cut. There's Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. It says, "My book holds many stories." And we have a postcard here in the back. And There's the last page there. That's the other side of that poster. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and be on the lookout for the next one, which will be, I think, the pansy. Thanks for watching.